This week on SV Lynx. Welcome to this week's SV Lynx video. Well, after our major successes last week of getting the starboard side daggerboard casing and sole installed, this week we're off to something a little different.
Yeah, I've been looking forward to this job for quite a few months actually. So we're gonna get right to it. Here we go. It's a new week. Last week was a good week. We got that sole in and that, of course, daggerboard casing first. And those were two big things that we've been working months. Now we did other things as well, but it's been months to get those daggerboard casings and all of those tanks and diesel, black water, gray water, all of that prep on the actual sole itself. It's just been a lot of work to get to that point. So we were very excited to get that in. Of course, they got the other side to do still, but at least we know what we're doing over there now. And we've done a lot of that other work that I talked about. We just have to install it. We've done all that other work with the tanks and cases and all that stuff. So we're all good there. Today, what we're starting with is something else I've been looking forward to, which is putting the final step at the bottom of the stairs down into the hull. Couldn't do that before because we needed the sole in before these steps could go in because it would be in the way. But now that the sole is in over there, we can put the step in on the starboard side. Once we get the sole in on the port, we'll the step. But we're fixing up both steps right now. These are the braces that will go underneath of these two steps. And so we're coring and filling these braces that are on the exposed outside edges, but we're also filling the outside edge of the step because I noticed we just forgot to do that when we cored that out and filled it. So we're fixing it now. And it makes no sense to do this twice, so we're doing the port and starboard at the same time. Well, while those steps are gluing out there, I thought I'd do a part 2 of an answer for the hatches down here. One of our viewers was worried that when we stepped on this, that this flex, and that every time we step off this step, it's going to flex. And our answer was, after we get the sole down, we'll test it and see if there's any flex here. Well, no flex. Not a bit of flex. I mean, nothing. This is solid on this hatch here. So as I suspected, once the sole was glued down and held rigidly, that this hatch would never flex. And it doesn't. Not even a tiny bit. So we're good. And all of them don't. I've walked through them all. They're all very solid now. Now that we've got this sole in here and all the hatches are in, and these are the inspection ports, and they're working out perfectly. We've got to do the edges. We didn't try to get the edges filled when we were putting this down. It was difficult enough to just get it glued down. We said, well, we'll get to the edges after it's set up. Well, it's set up. So what we're going to do is we're going to do this in 2 parts. We're going to fill the gap right now. It's only a little tiny bit. The widest part's about 10 mil. Most of it's more like 3-4 mil, but it's still a little bit of a gap. And 10 mil is 3/8, and Over here it's maybe 1/8 if you want inches. So Brian's mixing me up a bunch of epoxy right now. We're also going to fill the ends in. Now the ends are a little bit of a gap, bigger than just filling with epoxy. So we've cut some foam pieces that will fill in the gaps at the end. We were happy to have those gaps because if this thing was totally snug against both these bulkheads, getting it in and out the 100 times we'd done it would have been practically impossible. By having it just a little bit short, we were able to get it in and out a lot, and now we'll just fix the ends up, which is what we're about to do. The last thing we'll do well, there's two more things after that. We're going to put a tab, double tab around the whole thing to lock it into the holes, more than just glue. And we've got to fill in this gap down here. I don't know if I've got the camera can see it, so I'll point it down. It's got this gap down here around the daggerboard, and I want this sealed so that if water ever leaked in from if we hit something and somehow it got a leak in there, it would only fill this tiny little compartment right here around beneath the sole and around the daggerboard. Wouldn't hurt a thing if it did until we fixed it. So for that, I'm going to need to cut some really custom pieces. So what I'll do is I'll get out some stiff board and I'll make a template to match the curve of the daggerboard, front and back, and then we'll cut two custom pieces, one to go in from the back, one to go in from the front, and then we'll glue that in and decide how much glassing we want to do, but probably put a piece of glass at least around it to tie that all down. At that point, this sole will be fairly complete, and we can start construction of the walls in here permanently. We've had them in and out. You've seen that in other videos if you've watched, but now we're talking about getting them in here and doing permanent. So today, once this is glued and down, we're not going to be able to do a lot of the other things. We can cut these two pieces and glue those down. But if we run out of those things to do, we have two other areas that we could work on. We could go and start working on the sole for the port side of the boat, because we've got work to do over there. And getting this in and this in took a week. Getting the other side will probably take longer because we're going to split it up. We're going to do half of it in 1 week, half in another week. Why? So that you guys don't have to watch us do exactly the same thing again. We'll get some other stuff done. Bead, 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 bead. This is where it gets... Now, I'm making this as perfect as I can, but we're going to be putting a cove along the top of all of that. The reason we didn't do it all at once is because I didn't want to put that much thickened epoxy down at once because it tends to overheat and expand. So what we decided to do was do it in 2 stages. A flat version, which is what we're doing right now, and then a cove over the top of that when we do the glass. Well, we had this last little bit that we didn't have enough for. All right. Okay, so that seals the edges, and tomorrow we'll go ahead and tab that. This afternoon, like I say, we're going to cut the pieces that go in here, probably glue those in as well. So that's up next. It's time to glue these in. So we've made these pieces that insert here, one in the front, one in the back. And we just have to put some thickened epoxy around all of it and insert those in. But if we have a problem keeping them level, and we probably will, we've got some little blocks here that we can screw in as we need to here to hold these level there. And I don't mind putting holes in here because this isn't through the hull, so we just seal them up with thickened epoxy after we pull the screws out. Okay, well, I better get this back out of here. Brian should be coming with my epoxy momentarily. We're back to playing with walls now that we've got our sole permanently in here, and our step, just so you know, is ready to go in. We just don't want to glue it in while we're messing with this stuff. We'll glue that in when we're going to be gone and let it set up without bumping it. So we're starting to try to figure out these walls, and remember that these aren't the way we reconfigured all of these heads on the starboard side, completely different from the plans. So all the pieces that they're cut from the plans aren't going to work. So what we're going to be doing is changing all these pieces to make them work. And so we're starting to figure that out right now, what we have to add. For example, we need a center wall that goes across here. And there's a big gap right here and here if we use this one. I may not use this one. How wide is this? It's not wide enough to be a door, unfortunately. It's only 19.5 inches. Okay, so let's take this out for a minute. This wall was made to go across and fit these angles right here. So we're gonna definitely repurpose this one. It used to be over here on the way into the shower, but that's not how we're doing the shower anymore. So we're gonna take this wall and move it back over here. Now over here, there used to be a skinny piece and then an angled piece across, but we're going with a 90-degree turn, and we'll probably put a rounded corner on it. So this piece is going to go in here. It's a little tall for right here. It was better over there, of course, but we can just trim this and get it down. And then it was cut for a door, but we don't want a door, so we'll just fill those slots in and keep it solid. So that one will work for that wall. And then this one, which also had door slots cut in it that we don't need. This one's going to go over here somewhere. Now what we need is a short wall that goes across here. This becomes an opening for the door with a slider door that goes in and out right here. So all we need is this middle one. So we're going to look for a piece that has a piece like this. It already has these angles on it to make this wall out of. All right, let me go look for that. We're getting ready to glue in our staff. We've got our little supports on there. We've got it all marked to where it goes in here, and I've got a level ready to level it. A couple of supports. Get it staying in the right place. So it's ready to go. Initially just glue this on, but then I'm going to get down underneath it here and tab all of this so that it's very, very strong, because obviously we're coming, often coming down the stairs with a lot of weight coming down on this thing, so we need to make sure that this step is very, very strong. Now we did a suspended step like this because it still allows us to open up the cupboard down here. Start leveling. Okay, so we've got our step all glued in. It's level both directions, and we don't want to mess it up, so we'll go ahead and go to lunch, and then this will harden up enough that it won't move anymore. But we don't want to be in here doing anything while this is susceptible to motion. It's Wednesday morning, early, and it was a fortunately dry evening last night, so don't have the same problem we had yesterday with this being damp this morning. So we're gonna get right to tabbing all the way around this sole. And while we're at it, we're gonna tab our glued on step here. I just don't want to step on it. We'll probably hold me just fine with the glue, but I'd rather get the tabbing on it before we start pounding up and down there with my heavy weight. So first thing I'm gonna do here is get this clean so we're ready to go. While I prepped, Brian got the epoxy mixed, so it was time to do all the tabbing on this sole. Is Friday morning, and we get to pull peel ply. So I'll start with that. We took out all these hatches to make sure that there was no gluing of these while that was taking place. So put them back in now. Here. And last but not least, this one goes here. Okay, but more importantly, we have a step. Oh, that's so nice. Oh, that works out great. Coming from the side here. Either way, all great. Yeah, that's in there forever now. So, good day. Got my sole in. Got my stairs finally completed. That last one makes all the difference. All right, so today we're going to continue working on the walls in here. Now, I had a meeting with Robert Quinn, formerly of Schionning. And I have to say formerly because Schionning has gone through some strange changes in the recent last couple of weeks or so. You may or may not have heard of this, but Schionning is now in liquidation. And what that means precisely, I'm not sure, because I've gotten some conflicting emails from them about this. But what they're saying is they're in liquidation, but it's not going to change the support for the build going on, and that we will continue to get our normal support from them, but that we're supposed to be patient because they're having a backlog of issues. And the main reason for that is that Robert Quinn, who has been my contact and the expert on building these boats, is no longer with the company. And I won't go into the details of what happened there, but he's not with Schionning anymore, and they don't have a good replacement for him yet. I'm not sure if they're going to or not, but he was the person knowledgeable in the details of constructing the kit. So that puts me and 26 other boats currently being built in the world, all Schionning models, obviously, in a bit of a quandary because it takes a lot of support to build these boats. Fortunately for me, I'm towards the end of the build. I'm 90% or 95% done with construction, the part that they really help with. So I really don't have that much left. Some of these other boats have only gotten started within the last year, and they really need a lot of help. So I'm hoping that Schionning is going to follow through and supply that help. But bless his heart, Robert Quinn, who is no longer with Schionning, is still supplying support right now to me and the other boats. So thank you, Robert. He's doing currently unpaid support. So yesterday I had a meeting with him, and he helped me out on one of the few things I still had some questions on, which is the composite chain plates that come right down here onto this major bulkhead, and then the second one is up approximately here, and it has to come attached here. And I had a lot of questions about particularly this one, since it hasn't got as much surface area to connect to. But I did have even some questions on the composite, the way this is supposed to be made over here. So he cleared all that up for me. So we're good to go. And I'm waiting on some new carbon fiber rolls. I just ordered them. They're going to take about a month to get here. So why this is important is I can't do those chain plates for a month until the carbon fiber arrives. And I was working on the walls that went right here, but I have to think about, do I want that wall there while I'm doing this? It's probably not going to get in the way. The only thing I can't build is there's a closet that goes here. So obviously I can't build a closet until this is done, but I could put the walls in over other than the closet in, because there's still enough room. I'd have all this room right here to work, so that'd be okay. The chain plate's going to be starting from right here, and then it spreads out down this whole wall. So this entire wall bulkhead is going to be coated in carbon fiber. They recommend around 16 layers, but I'll probably go 20 just because I like to overbuild everything. So probably about 20 layers of carbon fiber to make that chain plate. Same thing over here. The difference on this one is that it just doesn't come down it fans out to the sides as much as possible, and then wraps all the way under and all the way back up again here. And then we already have a rolled up glass roll inside of this here to make this incredibly strong. That was we put in a long time ago. And so that really adds strength to this. So when you pull up on this part, it's pulling on this whole bulkhead. But we wrap, to get it surface area, we wrap down and up and then all the way back up the other side again. So that's how that works out. All right, well, I'm gonna get to work. I heard Brian arrived, so I'll get him and we'll start. We're trying to cut the center wall that goes between the two heads. And we got a lot of strange angles here. So what we're doing is we're creating a template here to find out where we're off. We are totally off. So good news is that's why we're using a template. The plan is, while he's cutting that, is we're going to glue this wall, this one, in here later. But we don't want to glue it yet because we want to do some cutting and stuff. We don't want to bump it while it's gluing. So we're going to get some other stuff measured and cut. And then so we get stuff measured and cut, we'll glue that one in, only that one. And then tomorrow we'll glue in the corner piece, which is this right here. And it bevels that corner around. Then we'll put in some other pieces as well. Today we can only get one. It's very close. And then we'll just extend this one on down. Okay, off we go to do some chopping. All right, let's give it a test fit, see how it worked. Fairly good. This we couldn't fix. We didn't shorten the board. That's just the way it is. So you got the grinder still? Yep. You want a line? Or are you good? Around the bottom corner for the cove. Doesn't mean anything for this. All right, so this is good. So we got our angles right. There's a gap here, but that isn't our fault. This is the length of the panel. We didn't cut that. So we'll just make a little thin piece to put up here. And we are good to go. Remember, this piece wasn't part of the boat original plan. In fact, if you look, there's, I can't see them on this side, but on the other side, there's door cuts in it for a doorway, which obviously this is not going to be. But that's okay. This will work for this spot. All right. So what I'm going to do is put some dotted lines, because this may not be right. I want to be able to take a look at it without this bar in the way. So just going to give me some dashes on here. Now I can see, compared to these hatches, where that wall's going to sit. Here it'd be okay. Here it'd be okay. Okay, if I did that, these hatches are going to have no troubles. All right, well, that's probably where that's going to go then. All the adjusting and grinding and cutting and measuring and marking and all that and cleaning, all that is complete. So we're ready to start gluing walls in to the stern starboard head. And it's actually going to be a shower. Now I say head. So That's going to be here, and we're going to get two walls in right now. We're going to get this one over here and the one that goes up against the daggerboard. They're not connected to each other, so we don't have to worry about any of that. We can just get them straight up and down and let them set up, and now we can start gluing things to them. Like there's a T-section that goes on right here, a little short wall. There's a little 45 corner on that one, and then the hallway wall, which is where the slider pocket door is going to be. But this is the start, and once we start gluing in, we can just build on and on and on and start building the cupboards on, because remember, everything in here is all one thing in the end, because there's no separate. It's not like you're in a house and you're going to put in a cabinet for the sink. Everything we build in the boat is tabbed and glued into everything else, so it all strengthens everything up. And so we'll just start with the big walls, and then we'll just build onto them until we have everything in here. This one's pretty easy. There's just a cupboard over here and a small cupboard where the sink goes. So that's not too bad. And then a separate wall for where the pocket door hides into that area. When we get over to the next compartment over, the head, on that one we've got to build a platform for the toilet to sit on. And because I bought the standard height Raritan toilet instead of the comfort height. The comfort height is 18, I believe, and the standard is around 15. These measurements in centimeters here. So we bought the shorter version on purpose so that we can build a platform underneath, raise it up to whatever height we want, and hide the plumbing coming out from the bottom into that platform. So we have to build that little platform underneath the Raritan toilet to make that work like we want. And then there's a cupboard in that and another cupboard under the sink. So there's a little bit more, not too much, but a little bit more work on the head side than in this one. Really the only difference is that platform we have to build. So easy enough. Our hardest part is just going to have enough foam to do it all. We got enough to build the heads for sure. I don't know if we have enough to build the closet wall in. So we'll find out after we build a lot more of what's left in the boat if we have offcuts. And depending on how many offcuts we have, if we have enough, we can build that closet. Now, one idea on the closet build is we don't build a solid closet. We just build a frame that goes up and around the closet like this, and a little cupboard at the bottom. And then we're going to need a door to open to get into the closet. That door could end up being a piece of marine ply for the door. And that way we wouldn't have to have a whole big piece for this. We just have small, thin pieces. We have plenty of that. So we could build a frame for this closet rather than, let's say, a solid closet. This is one wall of it. The other wall is already over here. So it's just this front that we have to have a bit. And the back wall is the outside of the hole that will be here eventually. But now it's time for this stuff. I'll start with the low stuff first. Okay. All right, everybody out of the bag. All right, stick the bottom in. Good news is the top won't scrape because it's got pieces that go in. All right, you think you're up? Up against it? Ryan and Jeff and I are working on the walls for the heads and the starboard side again. And this is a little T-wall that goes between the shower and the head. And it's going to have exposed edges where the doorway is. So we need to core and fill this. So I'm coring them out right now. Meanwhile, Jeff and Brian are over cutting the other wall to size. We're going to get these both of these edges done and the one over here right now. Now that's probably be it for these pieces for today, but we have the forward wall, this the bow wall of the head area, and that's made out of 3 separate pieces, and we got to get that all glued in, so we'll probably get to that after we get these corings filled. All the bricks here because there was a slight bow in this board, and we don't want it to set up on these 2 edges with that bow in it, so we loaded it down to make sure it's flat while it's setting up. Okay, all done, both sides of this and the other one over there, so we're going to move on to our other task. We have been measuring and cutting and cutting and measuring over here because we're piecing together 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 pieces to make this corner work with all these different angles and stuff of this head. Since it's all being cut custom, since again the factory didn't have these pieces for us because we changed it, our fault. But that means we're having to do all kinds of little pieces to make what we want, shape we want. But we finally got it, and so we're going to glue in the first of this corner right now. We want to let this set up, and then come Monday, we'll be able to add on to it. At least we'll have a piece to work off of. And so we're taking the single most obvious and non-piece together piece to put first that we can anchor everything else off of. So let's get this on here. Got it on all the marks, but I'm gonna double check it with a level. Level every direction. We're done.
As you saw, this week we got started on the walls of the starboard head and shower.
Yeah, those are what I really wanted to get to for a long time because we're trying to finish up, all the green foam in this boat, all 900 pieces, and we're down to the last 20. And those walls are part of those last 20 larger pieces. There may be a few smaller ones in addition to those 20. But for larger pieces, we have those walls. We've got the supports for the mattress, basically the floor for the mattress in the cabins, and not much more than that left to go as far as things we haven't worked on. So we're getting there, and it was a great feeling to start putting those walls in this week. So thank you for stopping by and watching. We hope you enjoyed our video, and we'd like to see you back next week.
Thank you also to our patrons listed here. We couldn't do this project without you guys. And as always, don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and click on the bell icon to be notified of our next video.
And we'll see you next week for that.
Bye.